Hi there, and welcome again to our online classes for Compact First B2. In our last class, we looked at an important piece of technology for you. Perhaps some of you chose a mobile phone like this. But what do you do when you no longer need your mobile phone or your laptop? What do you do with it? Perhaps you give it to a family, or perhaps you recycle it. What do you think happens to things like these when we throw them away? Well, today we're going to read an article about the problem of dealing with electronic devices when they are no longer used. Okay, so I'd like you to get your books and turn to page 58 and 59. Okay, we're going back a bit in the book. It's something we left for this moment. Okay, so page 58 and 59. The problem of electronic waste. Look at the exam task. Here we have it, and the text. Okay, first thing we're going to do is read the exam task together. So, exam task in part 4. You're going to read an article about the growing amount of waste created by electronic goods. 6 sentences have been removed from the article. Choose from sentences A to G the one which fits each gap. There's one extra sentence which you do not need to use. Okay, so what we're going to do first, we're going to look at this step by step. Okay, the first thing to do in this sort of task is to read the text, ignoring, that means not looking at, the sentences. Okay, so read the text from the start to the end, okay, and decide which paragraphs are mainly talking about the problem and which paragraphs are talking about the solution. Okay, pause the video and read the main text. Okay, so what did you think? 6 paragraphs. Which paragraphs were dealing with the problems? Yes, that's right. The first 4 generally were referring to the problems. And which paragraphs? With the solutions. Well, that's right. Paragraphs 5 and 6 dealt with possible solutions. So if we look at the box, quick steps to reading and use of English, part 6. Remember, the first step is to skim, that means read quickly, skim through the main text and decide what each paragraph is about. Okay? Now we're going to go to the second step, which is looking for contextual links. Okay? Let's look at the sentences A to G here below the text. Reference words and linking expressions help us decide which sentence goes into which space. Okay? In sentence A, you can see reference words have been underlined. They, these. Okay? They means we're referring to a plural noun. Okay? These, again, referring back to a plural noun already mentioned. Other such words are their or both, that sort of thing. Linking expressions, for example, be, can also help us decide. Be, in other words, introduces a paraphrase of previous information or a previous word. Okay, so I would like you to look at the other sentences, C to G, and underline reference words, it, and so on, those, these, that, and also linking expressions, okay? Linking expressions that introduce examples, comparisons, and adding points or sequencing. Pause the video. Okay, so back again. We won't We won't go through all of them, but I imagine you saw, for example, expressions like compared with, or add to that, or the other, okay, in sentences C, F and G. Reference words, we've got things like it in C, okay, there in E, referring back to a place that has been mentioned, okay, that in the expression add to that, referring back to an idea or a thing. So these help us find the answer and check our answers. Okay, now I'd like you to do the exam task. Okay, choose the correct sentence for each space. When you've finished, as it recommends in part 5 here, read the text with the sentences you've chosen. Does it make sense? Does it flow? Okay, read the sentences, make sure that it's a different number for each space, and check the sentence you haven't used, the extra sentence. Are you sure it doesn't go anywhere? Okay, pause the video and do the task, and then we'll check. Okay, so here we are again. Let's have a look, shall we? What answer have you got for number 1? Yeah, I've got E. E, okay. The paragraph finishes on the idea developing nations. E continues there, referring back to developing nations, instead of being properly processed items. It's talking about the items which are shipped. Okay, it talks about waste shipped abroad. Okay, so E, strong contextual link and textual link. Number 2 is F. Okay, yes, it's talking about, first of all, before the space, it talks about the problem about how there's so many mobile phones there now. Okay, and then it adds to that by saying something that was already being introduced, the vast amounts of waste arriving in developing nations. Number 3, C. That's right. Compared to that, well, I mean, there we have the text before the space talks about the old Industrial Revolution, and compared with that, it then introduces an idea about the new Industrial Revolution, and then continues with but to contrast with that information. Okay, so very strong links there. 4, G. Okay, the paragraph starts with, after about the bad news, it says the first bad thing is energy use, and then it goes on to say the other, introduces another bad use, another example. Number 5. 5 is B, producer responsibility, it says before the gap. In other words, and then we have a definition of producer responsibility. Finally, number 6 is A. Here we've got those reference words. Okay? Encouragingly, that's groups such as Greenpeace, have had some success in forcing them, major manufacturing companies, to develop non-poisonous, not toxic, alternatives to these being the toxic chemicals. Okay? Very strong links again. Okay, well, I hope you did okay on that. Let me know how you did. Number 6, we have some words. Okay, we've got 10 words. You need to match the word in the first column with a similar word in the second column. Don't worry about the letters, it's a bit confusing. Better just to do it, matching and comparing. Okay, so do exercise 6 and then we'll check. Pause. Okay, so let's check our answers. Remember, listen for the pronunciation as well. We've got substances, materials, that's right. Globally, worldwide. You can repeat these if you like. Flow, what do you think? Stream, that's right. Reduce, Phrasal verb. Cut down on something. Cut down on. Forcing. Forcing. Putting pressure on. Poisonous. Toxic. Alternatives. Substitutes, that's right. Good, good. What about duty? Responsibility. Now, next one, dumped. Remember, one syllable, dumped. Phrasal verb again, thrown away. Finally, enormous. Enormous. Vast. Okay, very good. So, I hope you got those. Remember to record them in your notebooks if you want to remember your vocabulary, very important. Finally, let's look again at the text. In part 7, we have some different words and phrases. Find the word or phrase in the text that means the same. Pause the video and then we'll check. Okay. So, what do you think? Number A, piece of equipment? Yeah, devices. Okay, devices. Since paragraph 1, remember? In paragraph 3 now, tall, hollow structures. That's right, chimneys. Chimneys. C, most recent and advanced equipment. Again in number 3. High tech. Yeah, it says modern high tech. Obviously coming from high technology. High tech. Official rule that controls something. Regulations. E, recycling. Yeah, using something again. Create, in this case employment. Generate. Generate. Gases, or a gas that traps heat in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is an example. Greenhouse gas, that's right. Finally, H, substances used in manufacturing. Chemicals. Okay, it wasn't finally, but I, getting rid of something. Yes, disposal of something. And finally, dealt with. It's in sentence E. Okay, instead of being properly processed, dealt with. Okay, so I think we can more or less stop there. So next time you finish with a mobile, have a think. What's going to happen with it? Is there a way to recycle it? I'm afraid I need to think about this as well. I know lots of companies say you can give them to organisations that then send them to places where they reuse them, or let people in developing nations use them. I don't know. Okay, but we know that we are, as it looks like in the first picture on page 58, mobiles everywhere. Okay, the next class, which is Wednesday's class, you're going to be doing a review of Unit 7 and Unit 8. Remember to just do your answers on a piece of paper and send to me at the email address that is available on the website, or that the director will have reminded you of. Please do so. I'll make a very short video just to remind you and to tell you what to do. Okay? But that one will be a nice and short one. Okay, well, keep safe, stay at home, as they say, and speak soon. Goodbye.